How we doing, everybody? Good morning. Sunday morning. Light it up. We're back again. Week 2. We waited a couple of weeks before we started, but now we're in the groove. Friday mornings, 10 o'clock. Sunday mornings, 11 o'clock. You know how we do it here. We we cap like we cap every day. We're not here making content. We're here to make bets, to try to pick out some good games and try to get us all to make some money. And make up for Friday. This last first Friday we did good, 3-1. Terrible show. My computer crapped out. I was rusty. But Friday show, all the content part went good and the picks went bad. So we got to make up for that. But typical baseball roller coaster, especially early in the season. Go if you follow me on Twitter and you see my plays, you'll see the how the up and down, how it can go sometimes. Today is Sunday. Saturday, yesterday I go 2-0. Friday I go 2-5. 0-4 on the show picks. Brutal. Lost everyone by a half a run, except for one, the Nats. And then Thursday 3-0. So that's baseball for you, right? Just gotta keep your head above water by the end of the month, and keep on adding those units little by little. You'll be all right. Okay, let's get started. It is MLB Day today. I have our friend Big Ragu 62 coming in. First, just quickly, DJBigBoss was going to join us with a little UFL, but he had to take care of something. He did give me his pick, and if you're interested in the breakdowns, him and Raymond yesterday did a UFL show. So that's on Who-Bangin. You can find it. Anyhow, let's bring in Big Ragu 62. What's up, Doc?
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Dommy. How's
How are you,
everybody
brother?
doing in baseball world this morning? I hear the stories. Yeah, hey, we're here for 162 games of the season, right? So, like you said, it's just
Exactly.
getting warmed up, and it's a roller coaster ride. Some teams are surprising. Some teams are who we thought they were. Just the feeling out stage, the injuries, the short ILs, the 60-day IL, all that stuff. All plays into the cap too. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Baseball is a fun game to bet, and you pick your spots, and like you said, you stack the little portions of the units, a quarter unit here, half unit there. Next
That's
thing you
right.
know, you got about 20 units at the end of the month. That's a good month. So, but
You
that's the
know,
way it goes in baseball. But we're here to
I
do what
heard a
you said.
guy. I heard a guy the other
Try to make
day
money.
say, "Doc." I heard a guy the other day say, "Just think about it. If you made a third of a unit every day, a quarter of a unit every day, at the end of the
Yeah,
week, 3 or 4 units. End of the month, 10 units. Guess what?
that
End
yeah.
of, in the end of September, that's 60 units. I know I haven't seen plus 60 unit yet. I hit 40, but I haven't hit 60.
Yeah, it's
So yeah. So
baseball's
think
a
about
downhill
it.
shift.
We always are going for like, oh, yeah. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
good to you know eke out a little win here and there is fine. So
yeah,
anyhow, today we got some good games up. Yeah, some injuries really. The beginning of the year, it happens to some teams sometimes where they just get decimated with injuries. And their season. Like last year, I still remember the Tigers' whole starting staff got knocked out of the box.
yeah,
So things could happen. Look what's going on in Tampa. They got injury problems.
yeah. Big
Tampa's a
time.
team we could talk about for a while. They won that game yesterday. I watched that game yesterday. I had
Yeah,
the under 4.5 in the first five. But tell you the truth, they won in extra innings. They should have won that game 3 times in that game. They made
yeah.
so many mistakes. 2 little league base running errors. Crazy stuff like that. So
It happens.
the
Yeah,
the
when
Rays
things
aren't
go bad,
playing
they go
Rays
bad.
discipline. I know they lost a lot of arms and stuff, and one of them is pitching today against my Mets, Tyler Glass now. But yeah, the
Yeah,
Rays but like you said, it's early in the season. They're still trying to figure things out. So you
yeah.
know,
Well, I mean,
that's how
when
it
you look at a
goes.
team like the Rays, I mean, not that we're going off subject. We're just opening up the show, just
Yeah, yeah,
talking baseball in general. And if you look at a team like the Rays, for years and years and years, their farm system has been spectacular, especially in the pitching department. They've always had 8, 10 guys down in the ranks that ready to come up at any time, and that's what they do. They patchwork it, and it doesn't usually bode well. When you get into these bullpen type games, for those scenarios, and that puts them in that. And not just the Rays, other teams for that matter, like the Braves were that way for a
yes.
bit, and and this year they're back in the same position. But when the offense is a little bit off and you don't get the run support and you have the pitching spot troubles, that's when you get in big trouble in the MLB. But if you're, like I say, Rays are a well-coached team, they got a good farm system, and they'll be competing. And every team in the AL East right now is, has a record. And the Yankees got 14 wins. I think the O's 13, and everybody else has got like 12 wins. So even with their problems, they're still right in the mix of things.
I agree. Like you say, and again, like it's early in the season. And a big turnaround, I got to mention it, a big turnaround by my New York Mets.
Oh, yeah.
Win or lose today, they win another series, which is 5 series. After opening up terrible, everybody jumping off the bridges in New York. They were diving off the Brooklyn Bridge. Settle down. We didn't expect much this year anyhow. Yeah. My prediction for the Mets at the beginning of the season was they were going to surprise people in April and May, and the telltale sign always with the Mets is what happens in June. That has been like the Achilles heel for them for years. Now, we don't have the pitching, I don't believe. I mean, we had 2 great starts out of Severino. How long is that going to last?
Hey,
I will tell you, the kid Buto is great. The kid Buto is really pitching well.
Yeah.
And I was a little worried about him yesterday, and he pitched again great. But, listen, look what happened last year, right? Look what happened last year with the Texas Rangers. No one had the Rangers picked in the beginning of the year. I mean, a few people did, but not, So anything can happen. The Diamondbacks, things like that. So what were you going to say?
Teams that and they're both, speaking of those teams, they're both doing well right now. But like you said, the Mets, they're sitting at 12 wins, the Rays 14s, and the Phillies 13. So it's the same thing that's going on in the East with the top 3 teams anyways are right there. Then you got the Marlins and the Nats, which are, they're a little bit different story on the other side of the coin.
As I was looking at the games today, I didn't bet the Marlins, but it almost looks like to me that the Marlins is one of the few winnable games for them. And if they don't win this game, I think they are really, really going to be in trouble. Again, their pitching staff got decimated,
Yeah, that's another team that got beat up pretty bad. When you got Luzardo's their ace now, right? So they took it in the chin pretty heavily, So pitching's where it's at.
That's So I know. So you got. I see the games that you're on. First of all, let me just give DJBigBoss. He is on the. He loves the UFL, and him and Raymond been hitting it, man, and they've been doing a good job hitting it. It's a lot of people. It hasn't caught on, I guess, yet, but it's fun to watch. There's a couple. I watched a little bit of it yesterday. It's fun to watch. He has the Renegades today -2.5. So I noticed a bunch of overs have been hitting in that. You would think they want scoring anyhow to be going on in the UFL, right?
Yeah,
they don't want to see no 14
market, but you can find some good spots like DJ's been doing, and he's been. Shout out to DJ, like you said, he's been doing his homework and he's been putting the work in and getting the job done. So pay attention to those picks when he puts them out there for sure, folks.
Yep.
Because DJ's spot on with the football.
All right, Doc.
Right now.
You got a couple. You said you got 3 games. I got 3 games with 2 of them with multiple picks on it. I added one as we were getting into the game, but I see you do have a pick on the game team we were just talking about. Tampa Bay, New York Yankee game at the stadium today. Talk to me.
Yeah, so basically, we just got through talking about the Marlins. I mean, the Rays, pitching woes a little bit, and like you said, they won that game yesterday 2-0. I think Judge struck out 4 times, and we're giving them Bronx cheers like crazy in New York as usual. The fans they turned on him, but Soto has been lighting it up. I mean, he's like he fit in there like a glove. Just he's having the time of his life playing in New York right now. But this is a series. This series here, it seems to me of late. It seems like especially of late, but the Yankees have started out red hot this year, to my liking. Finally, they kind of got a little fire out of the gate early on.
Yeah.
Tampa, like I said, they're battling. They're sitting there at 12 wins, so not a lot, not to dislike there. But the pitching's taxed a little bit here. So what we get in this matchup? We get Savai, who they went out last year. They got because of the same reason that they're in predicament this year. But he's like the number 2 guy behind Eflin now, and you got Lewis Gill, who kind of snuck up in the rotation because of Cole going down. But I seen Gill last year in spring training. He's got good stuff. He really does. He's very inconsistent though. He can throw some walks, but I think he's got like 20 Ks so far this season. He's averaging right around 4 innings. I think he's got like 16 innings logged or 18 innings somewhere. And Chevalier is averaging right about 5 innings. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of depth here out of both these guys. Even though Chevalier's 2-1 with 26 Ks and a 2.74, and like I say, he's had some success against some of the Yanks here. And then Gil, this is his first out, so this is the first time the Yankees are going to get to see what he's got to offer on the mound. But I think we'll see some runs in this spot. I mean, Chevalier, outside of Rizzo and Stanton, he's pretty much handled the Yankees pretty good, overall. As a matter of fact, he's in a short sample size against Soto. He's got 2 Ks and a walk and three at bats. So maybe he cools Soto off a little bit here, but I still think there's some vulnerability, even though the Yankees' pen is excellent. Tampa Bay's pen's a little off. They're down, like I say. Usually, sometimes when you get these situations with the pitching gets taxed a little early on, it works the bullpens a little bit more than usual. So it showed up for the Rays early on, but they'll adjust that out too with middle relief. But today, I think we see some runs after yesterday's slower type game, a 2-0 game. I think today, we'll see. I don't think we'll see a lot of long innings between these, even though Chevalier is probably the better of the two, without a doubt. I think we'll see maybe like 5-6 out of him max, and we'll probably see 3-4 out of Gil. And I think if the Yankees bullpen holds on, then I think the game has a chance to go over. But if the Rays bats come alive a little bit today, I think 8 runs is a little on the low side today. Really, I like the over here. I think it ticked up from 7.5 to 8. It's sitting at like at minus 115. So I like the over here, over 8 runs, minus 115.
The weather has the wind blowing straight out the center. Not a lot of wind, and I'm right here in New York, but they said the listing has it at 10 miles an hour blowing straight out, so it helps. A little push never hurts, right? Here's my question, exactly right. And I didn't look it up, Doc. We talked about the extra inning game. How deep did they go into these pens? So the pitching might be a little bit, that bodes for the over to me too, because it went into the extra innings. Right, a bunch of pitches must have been used. I really didn't look into it too much, but Savali has pitched well. I mean, he came from the Guardians, so he's pitched in the American League. Right. 17 innings. He's had his last 3 starts. He's pitched 17 innings, so he hasn't gone. So that's less than 6 innings average each start. Yeah. So, like you said, with a 3.18 ERA last 3, but a good whip number, 20 Ks, 4 home runs total he's let up. But like you said, the Yankees bats don't stay quiet too long, and even with Gil, Tampa could definitely contribute to that over.
Yeah, and he's late, and the Yankees are favored here too. By the way, the Yankees, I think they're minus 1. What are they like, 120-ish, 125, somewhere in that number there. I didn't I should have had that with me, but I'm sure I can look it up real quick. But yeah, with Gil being the chalk, because the Yankees, they're minus like 130. Gil's minus 130. So that, against a quality Rays team, even Chevalier, like early on, to get involved with the first 5, maybe it might even be worth a look at a plus money spot on the first 5. But I think I like the full game over better than I do trying to pick a side, because it's going to be a tough game here. Either way, it's a coin flip for me, because both of these teams, when they play, they're even up in my book, even with the question marks of pitching with Gil here. So, but I say I think Tampa. If you ask me if I had to take a side, I would lean Tampa actually in the first
right. Side. Yeah, I got you. All right. So we got the Yankees over 8 in that game. Would you get a minus 110? Do you know?
115.
115.
Yeah.
Over 8. The first game I am on is the Blue Jays against the Padres. Blue Jays going for the sweep. I don't think it happens. I like the Padres today. Bassett has not been good on the road. He in his 2 games on the road, he has an over 7 ERA. He hasn't pitched well on the road. That's basically it. He has not pitched well. Musgrove hasn't been no great either, but he did have a good home outing. It was like a 1.5 ERA in his only home start. The Padres bullpen is ranked a lot better than the Blue Jays. I got the Blue Jays pen ranked at 24th with like an over 5 ERA, and the Padres ranked like 17th with a 4 ERA. So, I like the Padres today. Musgrove, his ERA and his WHIP are high,
Yeah.
and he has hit 5 batters, which is, and all these are road starts. Like I said, he has not pitched too well on the road, but he has pitched better home. I don't think the Blue Jays sweep the Padres today. I took the Padres minus 124. The Blue Jays are 26th in baseball in OPS. Padres are 12th. And what I was saying about Bassett on the 1.57 WHIP to 11 walks to 22 Ks in his 4 starts. So that's not good. He's walking too many batters. Steals. I found that I've been looking at steals lately because of the new rules. And these guys are all pretty much close. The Padres are tied for 11th but they have 15 steals. The Blue Jays got 14 steals and are tied for 14th. So it just goes to show you how everybody has about the same. But everybody's stealing. I took when we were going on the show. I was almost ready to take the over in this game too, because I think there might be some runs, but I didn't take it. I just took the Padres minus 124. I might get to the over in that game also. I was just going to check the weather quick in that game. But that's really where I'm at.
That makes sense.
That's really where I'm at with Bassett on the road, and so the wind is blowing. The wind is going to help you, but it's not a lot of wind blowing anyhow. But it says it's blowing like across into the right field, into the stands. It's blowing across the stadium around 9 miles an hour. So that doesn't really mean much. I was talking about it on Friday. I don't even really concern myself much with the wind in my handicap unless it's over 15, 20 miles an hour, So,
yeah.
But anyhow, that's where I'm at with the Padres. Minus 124.
I kind of like that look. Like I say, Bassett, some struggles there. Musgrove's numbers hasn't been as sharp, even though he won 7-3 last out here. But the thing about the Padres, you talk about the runs and stuff. I was looking at, like who was yielding runs, on the run difference, because I'm a big run differential guy too. When I look at numbers, but we know that the Rockies are always going to be at the top of that list. They gave up 124 runs, and the Marlins 120. Astros surprisingly 118, and then you got the Dodgers, and then the Dodgers and the White Sox are tied at 108, and then San Diego's right there at 107. So they're right there at fifth. So they give up runs, and surprisingly enough, they score a lot of runs too. So, and usually San Diego's is one of them teams like the Mets were last year. They would either score 0 runs or score a bunch of buckets. Same thing with the Phils. But this year, I think we're looking at more offense this year, believe it or not, so far. So I like the offensive numbers here, and I tend to agree with your look.
I was talking Friday about the different rule changes and stuff, and how I read how spring training, the scoring was up in spring training. But so far this year, in the early part of the year, the scoring's down around 3%. Nothing than last year. Nothing crazy.
I mean, it averages out. They try to produce more runs because they want the game to be more offensively.
Well, this guy's theory,
more runs.
This guy's theory was one of the guys on VSiN. His theory was about them changing balls later in the season and how you could tell. He was talking about drag rate and slugging percentage. And I don't really know much about drag rate, but it's something the MLB puts out now. He said if that number, now I don't even know if a low number is good or a high number is good with drag rate. I don't really know much about it. It has to do with the balls flying out of the park. But he says if you see that number changing, let's say it going higher, whatever it is then now, for a positive number, whatever the drag rate positive is, and you see slugging percentage going up and, power numbers going up, they might have changed the balls then, That's how, and it's something to think about. I mean, since 2015,
they've been talking about that for years.
First started, yeah.
So anyhow,
we'll see what happens with that. But your next game that you're on is what? Baltimore?
Yeah, I got the Baltimore game. Yeah, I got a little bit. I got to look on the Baltimore side here.
two high scoring games. Those last two games with them.
Yeah, very high.
And I was
scoring
surprised
game.
yesterday it was as high scoring as it was, but the first game I thought would be. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we get the opportunity for. I mean, here's a spot like we talked about how, and we've mentioned this on camera several times, and almost every time I'm on, I bring it up about how profitable Baltimore has been on the run line.
Yes.
And even though, like I say, some of these opportunities you get them when they're when they're having to get a run and a half, and you're laying like 190, which is something I don't usually do. But if you're going to play a system like that, you gotta run the course, for the season, because over the average, it's going to, like you said, give you like 20, 30 units back on return, with a pretty decent ROI, even though, like you say, you're going to have smaller opportunities to get a big plus number with them because, they've gotten so good over the past couple of years. But it's just, I just haven't done it. I talk about it, but I haven't done it. So I always feel like I'm catching the tail of the rocket, when I get involved with something like that. But today is a kind of a unique opportunity to catch them in a dog roll too against a red hot Kansas City team. Kansas City was one of those teams that started out pretty good, and they're kind of holding their own. Like Pittsburgh, they start out really hot, and then they kind of come back down to earth a little bit. But KC's kind of just they've kind of held their own, in regard to what they've done, and they played really well at home. And Baltimore's, they kind of middled on the road a little bit here, but you got the setup here is like Irvin. What are we going to get from Irvin against Lugo? I think Irvin's looking for his first win, if I'm not correct. I don't think he's won a game this year yet. Well, he might have won one game, but yeah, he's looking for his first win, and he's had some struggles against this squad here, and then Lugo has been fantastic. Lugo's 3-0. His numbers are really, really good. This is the rubber game of the series that we talked about them last week in the chat, where they haven't been swept in a long, long time, and it's not going to happen today, obviously, because they've already
95 and 96, 96, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That goes back 2 years. They haven't got swept in. If
been
anybody doesn't know that, they haven't been swept in a series in like 2 years. In 96 series, figure it out.
It's unbelievable, man. But I think today the way I look at this game here is with we're getting a little bit of value in my book. You say, okay, you're getting Baltimore as getting the value here, but I think Kansas City's getting a little bit of value too, because if you look at what Lugo's done and his matchup with some of the strong lineup that Baltimore has, he's pitched well against them, and he's been spectacular this year too. So, given the fact that that they're a little bit of a small favorite here at home, which they're playing well, and Baltimore, coming off that win yesterday, and usually when Baltimore scores, high single digits, they tend to pull back the next, not every game, but I've looked at their charts and they've kind of, got back to like the norm, like 3-4 run type games, where they're not going to come back and score 12 after scoring 9, that type of thing, even though they're capable of doing it. But KC's kind of just been middling it and doing their thing, and they've been really tough at home. And Lugo's been spectacular. So you get an opportunity to maybe make them a small favorite early on because of Lugo. And like I say, Irvin's a little bit of struggle, still looking for his first win. I like Kansas City here on the first 5 minus a half a run at a plus number here, like plus 113 at FanDuel. So I'm going to roll the dice on this one a little bit. I know Baltimore's tough to bet against because, like I say, we just got through saying how all the teams in the East, Baltimore's like right behind the Yankees by 1 game. But, Kansas City, they've been doing really well themselves, especially at home. So, and like I say, it's a rubber game here. They've already lost to Baltimore 1 game, not to say they can't lose 2, but I just think this is a good spot. I'm betting on Lugo's arm today, basically, to kind of hold Baltimore down a little bit, and I'm willing to give up a half a run with him here in this spot. It could blow up in my face, but I just think it's a good spot for Lugo here at the plus money, how good he's been pitching. So I'll take my chances with Lugo laying a half run first 5.
Lugo finally got himself out of the bullpen, and once he left New York. So Lugo's a guy I know very well. He has been pitching good. Yep, he has been pitching well. This starting staff in Kansas City, they still might be. They were the top of the league at the beginning of the week. They probably
Yeah,
they were number one. I don't know if but they're still one or two
they're
or
deep. The
whatever.
first four guys are really
You
good.
know, what impressed me about Kansas City is they had that 7 game streak. They came into City Field. They lost the series to the Mets, and everybody started. Oh, maybe Kansas City. Nope, they went back home and took care of business. That's a sign
Yeah,
of a good team. Listen, you're not going to win,
yeah.
and I don't. There's no way. I know Kansas City's a better team than the Mets, so believe me, I wasn't. It was a great win by the Mets beating them, but I didn't think Kansas City was all of a sudden going to fall apart. So I like your
Yeah.
look there. Kansas City's a tough team this year. I know me
They're
and you talked
scrappy.
about them a lot over the last 2 years. I remember we were about 2 years ago. We were
Singer.
in Vegas in August, and we were Kansas City started getting hot then, and then this year they're kind of like Baltimore was almost 2 years ago.
Exactly.
Then next,
That's what I said.
it's
Yep.
got kind of on that
Exactly.
same thing.
They're catching
Let me
fire,
welcome
man.
in
They are.
some. Look who's in
And
the
their
chat
pitching's like
today.
falling in the lines too. Like you're saying, they're pitching now. You got Singer, that's like the 3-4 guy. You got
Yeah.
Lugo's like the 2 guy. You
Yep.
got Raggins is at the top. I mean, their pitching they got solid. They stay healthy. That was their thing with Kansas City. They always had potential with the bats. Where they had, guys that they went out and they had a good mix of young guys. They had some veterans they brought in, that type of thing, to kind of prop things up. But then the pitching was always kind of iffy. But now the pitching's they kind of really got the pitching thing in a good spot here, and they got good run support when they get on the mound. So that equates to win. So I'm not gonna say no disrespect against Baltimore, but I just think it's a good Seth Lugo spot.
Yeah, Baltimore got the target on their back a little bit now,
Yeah,
And
they
I'll tell
have.
you, I love Cole Reagans. I think he's a good pitcher. I really
Yeah,
like him a lot. And I love the shortstop, Witt Jr.,
yeah, wait,
Bobby's son. Man,
yeah.
that kid could run. That kid is fast as hell. What a great player,
He's a
man.
ball player. That
What a
kid.
great player. So, Doc, take a look who's in that chat. The rabbi of the lowbag is Ricky
Oh yeah.
March in the chat.
Oh
How you
wow.
doing, Ricky?
Ricky.
Good to see you, man.
I got
Ixnizzle in the chat. OG Wham in the chat. DJ in the chat. Thank you, fellas. James Parm in the chat. What's happening, everybody? Glad you have joined. Takes me a while to even remember to hit that comment button to see who's in the chat. I
right. Shout out
apologize.
to everybody.
You know how I do. How's everything, Ricky? Good to see you. Yeah, we're actually planning. We'll be talking. We're actually planning a big. I don't even if Doc even knows. We're trying to plan a big next year Breeders' Cup trip. So
Yeah,
which
that'd
doesn't
be
matter
good.
to Doc. He does that anyhow. But
I'll sign up. Sign me up for it right now. I don't
sign
care
you
what
up. Okay, next game do you have up, Doc? What game do you have up next?
Oh, the next game for me, yeah, I got a. This game was kind of strange. I'm looking at the Seattle Mariners, the M's, and the Rockies.
Okay.
So basically, this
I'll be right
is
back.
another pitch. See me, I'm all about the pitchers. I when I break down the game, I'm looking at the pitching matchups, the batter pitcher matchups, and I'm looking at the streaks. It's a couple little variables that I like to get started with. First, I'm looking at the lines. I'm always looking at the lines in the markets, but in this particular spot here, Kirby versus Quantrill. So you got the M's that are kind of a little bit of an interesting team right now. I think they're hitting like a four-game win streak, and you got the Rockies, who Rockies are probably like the second worst team right now. They're looking at 4 wins, 2 of those wins at home, 2 of those wins on the road. And we know what happens out at Coors Field. We see runs, and it's just like a launching pad out there in Colorado. But the M's, interesting enough, they got a 4-win streak going, and I think 3 of those wins have been on the road. So basically, they had 1 win going into the on the road. I believe if I'm correct, going into Colorado. So not a real strong road team, or the Mariners, but they've hit a little bit of fire here. Kirby has faced only one time has Kirby faced the Rockies in his his career, and he's went 6 innings and has 3 Ks over those 6 innings. So not a lot of history there for Kirby versus the Rockies. Quantrill, on the other hand, he's faced Colorado. He yielded. Let's see. I think he's got like one win, and let's see. And the Rockies, like I said earlier, they've given up 124 runs at home. But Quantrill's had some pretty good success against some of these guys in the lineup against the Rockies here. So he's familiar. I mean, he's familiar with some of these guys. He's faced them, not a ton, but over his career, he's faced a few of these guys. So I like the Rockies. I think normally we're seeing like 11s, sometimes 12s against teams that can come in there and smash it. Like when the Dodgers come to town, we see these 12s, right, hanging 12s and the D-backs on the Rockies. But today we got like a streaking M's team, like I said, that has caught fire a little bit on the road here, but normally it's not that great on the road. But they're a middle team. But that's another team that we've talked about, looking at the playoffs. Rodriguez's numbers are pretty good against Quantrill. I think he's kind of lit him up. But outside of Rodriguez, he's kind of held his own, actually. So, and the number's sitting at 10. And I think, like I say, with Quantrill's success, moderate success here, and then the no look against Kirby only one time in his career, his face him going 6 deep, giving up 1 run. I think we might see some. You don't usually equate Coors Field and unders here, but this might be a good spot for an under, and maybe take a shot at the Rockies too. Getting a half run at plus 105 in the first 5 here. So I think the first 5 present values with both of these pitchers. I think an under at 5.5 shows a little bit of value too, if that's even a word in Coors Field, under in value. 5.5 runs at minus 112 under. I like that look, and I'm gonna split it up with Colorado on the first 5 plus a half a run at plus 105.
I like it. Listen, Kirby's a good pitcher. He's going to get better as everybody gets all caught up on how guys do their first couple starts. I talk about looking at pitches like yesterday. A lot of people thought the Yankee game was going to go over. I was on that under, first 5 dead under, because I thought Eflin was going to have a better outing. A lot of these good pitches, I like to see they had a couple 2-3 bad outings to start. I'm looking to go with them because I know they're not going to keep. Listen, Kirby's last 4 average. He's only he hasn't been pitching deep. He's averaging about 15 outs. But he doesn't walk anybody. His average last 4 games is 0.5. Actually a half. He had no walks his last 3 outings and 2 walks his first outing. There you go. So that right. That just goes to show you he's averaging. We had 5 hits last time. The 2 games before that, 8 hits, 10 hits. Now last game against the Reds, 5 hits. So he's getting better. So that really to me bodes well for the under also. I'm not.
Colorado's a player. Like I say, they've given up more runs than anybody in the league, at 124. But just like I say, Seattle. They've had good luck of late. They've won. They're on a 4-game win streak, and prior to that, I think they won 1 game on the road. So, and Colorado's won 4. So they're in that percentage bracket where they're. I hate to say a team is ever due for win because there's no such thing. But if you play the percentages with Colorado in this spot here, this is a very winnable game for them. As far as percentages go, because like I say, they got 4 games, and Seattle's won like 4 in a row. They won 3 of those on the road. Do they come in and take the sweep here? I don't know. They could. But I think Quantrill is up to the task, and I think so isn't what's his name for Seattle? He's
Kirby.
Kirby, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pitchers. He did well last year. Look, Seattle will be there.
I like the under better. I think, right. But I like I say, taking a stab with Seattle on the first. Colorado on the first.
Colorado, 5. Gotcha. Listen, if you think about it, that first 5 plus run line, a half plus a half is probably one of the best bets in baseball. You got a couple of ways you can win it, right? We don't play it often, and a lot of times because of the odds aren't favorable to play it, but that's not. I think hands down, the worst bet in baseball is the first 5 run line minus a half. I think that is the worst bet. I won't bet it no more. I just stopped betting it last year. I have not bet. I will not bet it at all. If I'm going to either take
There's more damage
team,
done.
that's
in that
right.
5th inning.
I'll
It seems
take.
like
I've
always
tied 3 or
happens.
4 times so far this year with the first 5 that I would have lost if it was minus a half. So anyway,
I get
I'll
it.
go off
I
on
get
that
it.
tangent.
I get
The
it.
next game I'm on is I'm on 2 more games. I'm on the Arizona Giants game. Merrill Kelly against Wicks. Kelly, is not. He's just not a road pitcher. I mean, I was even looking up last year how his numbers last year. He had a 2.59 ERA with 93 innings at home last year. On the road, he pitched 84 innings and had over a 4 ERA. And it just seems to be the same thing in and out with Kelly. I like the Giants today. I think the Giants have been getting a little bit better and a little bit better. They are improving with their numbers against righties, which they were not good at first. Kelly has an ERA of 2.19, but by the numbers I'm looking at and the ones I follow and add to my own, I have an expected ERA for him to go up to like 3.80, almost 4. So, and with Wicks, he has a 5.29 ERA that I think is going to, more of a 3.85 expected. But I like the Giants today. I took them minus 112, and then I took the over 7.5 minus 122 right before the show. I think there's going to be some runs scored in this game. Listen, Arizona has a good offense. The Giants have been hitting, like I said, a little better and better. Both these pitches, are in no great shape. So I think the over's a good shot too. I was looking at that, like I said, it took it as the show started, and that's what I took. The Giants minus 112, and I took the over 7.5 minus 122, and that's in. Let me see. There was something else that I had on this game, but I'll find it. But regardless, that's what I took in this game. I took the Giants today over the Diamondbacks, who have been playing a little bit up and down. They've been, I think everybody expected the Arizona to come out of the gate like they did like they finished last year, which is kind of hard to do. But they have another team that's a good team. Their pitching's getting a little bit better and better.
Nelson got hurt for them too. I think recently too.
Yes. Yep.
Ryan Nelson, I think he's out, so they're gonna have to juggle against.
That's a big. Yep, that's a big thing. So that's where I'm at in that game. And the last game that I took, I had to take a play on the New York Mets Dodger game today.
What do you think?
I don't really listen. I could go on and on how good the Mets have been playing. And the best stat I could give you how good they've been playing is after the 6th inning, they're outscoring opponents 41-16 or 41-14, 42-14. It was, that number was in there. So before the game yesterday was 41. They scored a run or 2 yesterday. So regardless, they're outscoring guys in the late innings. And they're just hitting the ball. I just think they hit the ball. Now, today they're up against Tyler Glasnow. Glasnow's not off a good start. He's off a bad start against the Nationals, which, he had a bad start. I mean, he had a bunch of good starts before that. But he had the Mets really, you could arguably say, is the best offense he is facing so far this year. I didn't take the Mets, I still don't like the Mets to win this game. I can't believe they're going to sweep the Dodgers in this series. But I think the price for the Mets plus 200 is not a bad way to go. But I think Glasnow. I think the Mets could get to Glasnow a little bit. I think the Mets could definitely get to the Dodgers pen. I took their team total over 3.5 plus 100. I really didn't understand the number.
I like
the Mets
that.
have been hit. The Mets have been hitting righties. They've been hitting lefties. I think because of Glasnow and his, cachet, that's why that number is so low. I also took the first 5 under 4.5. It was plus 112. I thought the number was good. I tell you the truth, I think the over in the game is a play, but I think it's going to be late runs. You know.
Yeah. Well, you heard what I said earlier.
I went a little contrary on this game. You know, I went a little contrary. I took the first 5 under Adrian Hauser. Let me tell you quickly about Hauser. He's, Adrian Hauser. Adrian Hauser's pitching today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. As the Canadians say, Hoser.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he hasn't pitched great, but his last outing wasn't bad. He had a pretty good outing. But overall, he don't pitch deep. He don't pitch deep. He's averaging 5 innings. 15 innings in his last 3 starts. A 1.50 WHIP, 9 Ks. His problem with him, he's walking a bunch of guys. He had his last outing, 5 Ks to 5 walks. That wasn't good in 5 innings. But it was a win versus Pittsburgh. He only let up 2 earned runs. His last average, he's letting up 3 home runs. He's letting up 3 strikeouts, average, and 3 walks. So that's a problem there with Hauser. But he pitched well last game. Those numbers really were from his first couple starts. Last time wasn't too bad against the Pirates. A team they swept right after they played the Royals. That was a little surprising. The Mets' pen last night was used a little bit. Diaz had to come in the 8th and just took out Ohtani, took out Freeman. It was it was just some great pitching. They had bases loaded. The Dodgers 4 or 5 times yesterday and stranded bases loaded, Then Garrett got his save in the 9th. We might not see Diaz today, which says to me it might bode well for maybe the over late in the game. But I like the Mets team total. Tyler Glasnow's last 5 average. He hasn't pitched deep. 5 innings, 5.2 innings, 6.8 Ks. He's averaging 17 outs, almost 4 hits. He's still Tyler Glasnow. He's still good, but Mets might be able to get a run or 2 off him. But the 3.5, I thought the 3.5 was low, especially at plus 100. I wouldn't have took it if it was minus 120 or, I wouldn't have took it. And I wouldn't have took a 4.5. And I think that maybe I get a couple good innings, hopefully, out of Adrian Hauser, and I get the first 5 under 4.5. I thought plus 112 again was a good price. So that's where I went with that game.
I think you're thinking that the Mets are going to come on strong, like you said earlier. After the 6th inning, they've been doing damage to teams. And then the Dodgers bullpen, they're not nothing to write home about. They're like a bottom, they're like 25%, bottom feeder.
Dodgers lost 7 out of the last 9 games. The Dodgers ain't playing. The Dodgers ain't the Dodgers. Yeah. And the pitching ain't.
Like I said, their run differential. I mean, they're giving up runs.
Yes.
Their bullpen's not getting the job done. They're not blowing people out like they're not scoring. They can score runs. I mean, they still have a pretty decent offense, but their bullpen is a little shaky. The Mets are killing lefties. They're a top 3rd team versus righties. There's a lot to like about the Mets offense right now. So the team total I like. The full game over I like. So
yeah, this could be one of those. I used to call it with a Jimmy show. I used to call it the flim flam bet. I bet the under first 5 and over full game. But this kind of warrants that. What's up, Dabby Cab? Welcome in. Thanks for joining. But if you got any plays, Dabby, put them up in the chat. I'll put them up on the.
Shout out to that guy, Dabby. Dabby, we got to get Darvish back on track. He beat us up last week. I didn't follow him this week. I didn't follow what Darvish did this week, but last week when I was on with Jose, I had a pretty good show with him. I went like 7-4. I lost like the nightcap 2 games. I bet under and the Padres last week with Darvish on a K prop. But we'll get it back, Dabby. Darvish will lean back towards the middle without a doubt.
Gotcha. So anyhow, that's an interesting game, the Mets and Dodgers. I'll be watching it. Maybe I'll put something in live. If you see the Dodgers go up early, the Mets might not be you'll get a big price on the Mets coming back. and that might not be a bad way to go, considering how they've been playing late in the day. But listen, the Dodgers lost three straight.
Yeah,
They're
those
going to
little
get swept
streaks is
today.
where
I
it's
don't know
at.
if they're going to get swept in this, But like I said, regardless, the Mets are going to win their fifth series. And here's my little quick thing on the Mets. When you see them, this is something to always look at with the Mets. When because it's so rare, when they're hitting lefties, they're winning. Trust
Yeah,
me. They've always
yeah.
been decent with righties. They've always been decent at home. When they're hitting lefties, because that's been their Achilles heel, like the month of June, I said, there you go. That's just something to keep your eye on. What else do I have? I had a couple things written down about a couple other teams. Tampa Bay's pen is really at the bottom of the
Yeah, they're
league.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're struggling.
Yep.
Like I said, they got taxed early with the starting.
Here's an
rotation, but
interesting game today, the Pirates. I went against Perez the last time he pitched because if I looked at all his games, he's been pitching 80, 90, 95 pitch count every game. And I'm like, last time he pitched, I didn't think he was going to pitch well. He pitched another good outing. He's been sharp on the Pirates coming from the Twins. They got the Red Sox today. They got the White Sox. Is that the Pirates White Sox? Is that
that's
what it
another
is?
team's pen that's been on fire. Is Red Sox. Their bullpen is tremendous.
Yeah, their bullpen is tremendous. So anyhow, I was just Perez is a guy to keep an eye out. I think he's due for a little bit of a regression, as I like to say. But he's just impressed me how he's pitched lately. Just something. And they're playing. Like you said, the Red Sox. Tough,
Yeah.
tough game.
Yeah, the East is tough, man.
Of course, the
And-
White Sox haven't scored more than 5 runs in any
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
They got
they're-
so those are the other thing with Nola's pitching today. I don't know what his pitch. I don't know what his pitch count, what his his strikeout prop is, but and I know you talked about Nastriani last time he pitched. I remember you were talking about Nastriani for the
Yeah.
White Sox last time. Anyhow,
Right.
the White Sox are striking out at a 30% clip.
they're horrible. They're the worst in the league.
I don't know what Nola's K prop today is, but that might be something. I just some looks I was looking at. And
Yeah.
and since I mentioned the Twins, they're another team whose offense has not been.
They've fallen off. They've fallen off. And then
I think they'll still be here in the
the
second
Royals
half.
kind of
Keep
stepped
your
up
eye
where
on
the
the
Twins
Twins.
were last year. Now the Royals, they kind of flew up there, and then the
Yes.
Twins are kind of like regressing now. And I always preach how I was a big Twins guy, front office guy with the Twins, but they're just not getting it done on the field.
Not
right
getting
now,
it done, but I'm not sure if that's going to hold. That's going to be in the second half. I'm not going to
Yeah.
give up on the Twins yet
No,
because of their pitching
right now
staff.
they're just struggling a little bit.
Yeah, because
they'll
they
pick-
do
they'll
got
pick
that
it up.
pitching staff, right?
They'll pick it up. They'll definitely pick it up. But the Sox, they're pathetic. And same thing for the Marlins. Like if you want to look at a game, maybe I'm not a big run line guy at home teams, but you just pray and like it when you get to extras if you get a walk off to kind of cover the run line. But I'm not big on run lines at home. But the Marlins are so bad right now. You got Hendricks going for the Cubbies. Maybe you can look at the against Cabrera. Maybe you can look at the Cubs. The Cubs have been generating offense. They've been putting runs on the board. That might be a small play for me. Maybe hard lean on the Cubs on the run line. At a plus 160 number against the Marlins that are totally decimated with the pitching and they're struggling with bats. They used to be good at home. When you take the Marlins at home, but they're just a hot mess right now. So I would lean toward it as an extra game, probably the Cubs, on the run line at home against the Marlins, which the Cubs are scoring runs in bunches right now. So Cubs bats are looking really, really nice.
Yeah, no, they are. I think but if you talk about a team that needs a win, man, that's the Marlins. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the reason why I brought up the Twins quickly was because I like this guy. I like Casey Mize. He's pitching for Detroit today. That kid's been pitching well. I like him. He's a good pitcher. He's somebody I'm keeping my eye on. Also, Varland hasn't pitched well at all. A 2.07 whip. You
Yeah.
don't see that too often.
Yeah, that's in the stratosphere
Detroit might
right
be
there.
up today. But anyhow, we got some good games going on. Dabby's on the Red Sox team total over 3.5. is the
I
first
put my
bet
plays
he
in the
made.
chat too, Dom.
Yeah, I see that. I'm gonna put it up right now. Those are Big Ragoo's plays, and we'll start wrapping this up. I'll give you my plays because I have time to type them in. Padres minus 124, Giants minus 112, Giants over 7.5 minus 122, Mets team total over 3.5 plus 100, Dodgers first 5 under 4.5 plus 112. Those are the games I'm on. Doc, you see Doc's on that over in the Yankee game. He's on the KC
One of your
first
favorite
5.
bets right there, minus a half run.
What was
I
that?
hate it too. I hate him.
Yeah, I hate
I'm
him.
addicted to him though.
And that's it, man. We got it. We got it for a Sunday. I will be back on 51 minutes. Not bad, Doc. I'll be back on Friday for sure at 10 o'clock in the morning. And I will be during the week. I've been trying to pop out some plays. We're trying to get something to do in the afternoon here and there with a couple people I've been talking to. See, we'll try to come on and do a couple late plays in the afternoon. I was talking to, matter of fact, Friday we were going to do it. Something came up with the grandkids. I was going to do it with Dave, picks from Dave, on Friday afternoon, and it didn't work out. But we'll be doing some stuff, And that's it. Stay tuned to Who-Bangin Sports.
Yeah, right.
Stay tuned to Ixnizzle will be looking at Keelan today. All right, quickly. Let me just say this quickly before we get out of here. My man Ixnizzle is on the NBA Celtics, Mavs money line parlay, and in golf he's all over the place. The kid is rocking Scotty Scheffler to get the job done.
Scotty's been on fire, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys have a good day. This is DommyGun+, Ricci, Big Ragoo 62, Who-Bangin Sports. We will be back again during the week. Thanks, guys.